Okay, good morning to all. Our topic for today is all about gross income. So, when you are going to define gross income, it means the permanent items of the income referred to in the section 32A of the tax code. It includes all income from whatever source. So, take note, all income derived from whatever sources, unless it is exempt from tax, okay, by the law, including but not limited to the following. We have compensation. So compensation, it talks more on the services in whatever form paid, including fees, salaries and wages, commissions, and similar items. We have also gross income derived from the conduct of trade or business or for the exercise of profession. We have also gains from dealings and properties, okay, and we have also interest, rents, royalties, dividends, annuities, prizes and winnings, pensions, and partners' distributive share from the net income of general professional partnership. So if you are going to observe, okay, the definition of gross income includes a catch-all clause, meaning that is from whatever source, to supplement the enumeration by including any non-enumerative items which can properly defined as income. Okay, so those are the different sources of our gross income. Let's tackle first the first part of the gross income. So that is compensation. So compensation is remuneration received by an employee from employment or an income earned by an individual as a result of an employer-employee relationship. Compensation means all remuneration of services performed by an employee for his employer unless specifically exempted by the provision of the NIRC. Okay, so it is any form or income earned by an individual as a result of employer-employee relationship. Now, when does an employer-employee relationship exist? So it exists when the person from whom the services are rendered has the right to control and direct the individual who performs the services, not only as to the result in accomplishing the work, but also as to the uh, details and means by which that result is accomplished. Okay, so that's the existence of an employer-employee relationship. Employer mo may control sa'yo to control or to give you mandates on how to work. Depende sa business na employer. And as a result, you will be given a compensation in return of your services rendered. So that's employer-employee relationship. Now we have regular compensation and supplemental compensation. So in regular compensation, that includes your basic salary. Okay, when we say salary, these are earnings received periodically for a regular work other than manual labor, such as monthly salary of an employee. We have also fixed allowances for representation, transportation, and others. Okay, so yan. In general, fixed or variable transportation, representation, or COLA, okay, and other allowances that are received by a public officer or employee or officer, okay, or employee in a private entity, in addition to the regular compensation fixed for his position or office or compensation that is subject to withholding tax. Okay, aside from representation, transportation, it also includes others, okay, that are paid to an employee per payroll period. So, regular compensation, exempted from income tax under any special law such as, okay, contributions required under SSS or GSIS law, exempted po yan. Premiums for group insurance, ayan, exempted din yan. And similar contribution under existing laws. Okay? So we have also supplemental compensation as addition to your regular. So this includes payments to an employee in addition to the regular compensation, but not limited to the following: overtime pay. Okay? Ayan, so usually we have only 8 hours per day. So if you work beyond 8 hours, then you will be entitled for overtime. You have also hazard pay. Okay, this will be given to employees if their work are really risky. Okay, night shift differential if your duty is at night, late at night, and also holiday pays. Yan. We have also 13-month pay and other benefits. Hindi po ito siya taxable if the total amount received is 82,000 or less. However, it is now changed into 90,000 under train law. We have also commissions, honoraria, and allowances. Okay. So, pag commission, pag commission yan class, it is usually a percentage of total sales, diba? Ayan, on a certain quota or sales volume as part of incentive. Okay. For example, sales commission. Ayan. So, honoraria, if you're given the opportunity to, to host any services, ayan, that will be given to you in recognition for your services performed. Okay, for which established practice, okay, that discourages charging a fixed fee. So, the honorarium of a guest lecturer is an example. Okay, ayan. And other allowances. So, as a continuation to our compensation, we have here a minimum wage earners. So, under the tax code, they are exempted. Okay, so minimum wage earner receiving other income such as income from conduct of trade or business or from the practice of profession exempt income subject to final tax, in addition to compensation income shall be subject to tax on the entire income. Ito yung magiging rules. Generally, minimum wage earners are exempted, but if ever meron pa siyang income other than his compensation, okay, the entire income will be subject to income tax. Okay? So, minimum wage earner shall be subject to income tax if he or she receives additional compensation. For example, may commission siya aside from his compensation. Okay? Naka-receive siya ng honoraria, fringe benefits in excess of the allowable statutory amount of 82,000, that is supposedly now 90,000 under train law, taxable allowances and other taxable income other than minimum wage, statutory minimum wage. Okay, so that is the rulings pag minimum wage earners. Now, let us proceed to separation pay. Okay, separation pay under Section 32 of the NIRC. This is any amount received by an official or employee or by his heirs from the employer as a consequence of separation of such official or employee from the service of the employer due to what? Death, sickness, or other physical disability for any cause beyond the control of the said official or employee that is exempt from taxes regardless of age or length of service. Okay? So, dito sa separation pay, dalawa yung babantayan natin. It could be taxable kasi or not. Separation pay is taxable if it is voluntarily availed of. Meaning, it shall not be taxable if involuntary. So, ano yung mga involuntary that is, hindi siya taxable? For example, death, sickness, or other disability, reorganization, or may merger sa company and company is at brink of bankruptcy. So, hindi naman yan sinasadya ng mga employer na mangyayari yan, di ba? Therefore, kapag ganun yung mga instances na yan, may merger, may sickness, may disability, the separation pay that was given to the employee will never be taxable. However, okay, so when a company is at brink of bankruptcy, the sequence of satisfying the company's indebtedness should be in this order. Kailangan mo na bayaran si BIR, after nyan, si employee, and after the creditors. So, to further discuss it with, as a rule, any amount received by an official or employee or by his heirs from the employer due to death, sickness, or physical disability for any cause beyond is exempted. Okay, when we say for any cause beyond the control, it connotes involuntariness on the part of the official or employee. So the separation from the service of the official or employee must not be asked for or initiated by him. Okay? So any amounts received by the reason of involuntary separation remain exempt from income tax even if the official or employee at the time of separation had rendered less than 10 years. Okay, kasi sa retirement pay, para maging non-taxable ka, kailangan 50 years old, okay, and may 10 years of service ka. Pero dito sa separation pay, kahit hindi ka nakapag 10 years, as long as the reason is beyond the control or involuntary separation, that is non-taxable. Kapag voluntary separation pay ang binigay sa iyo, that is taxable to income tax. Kasi nga, hindi, ang reason is, okay, other than death, sickness, disability, reorganization, or company, or if the company is at the brink of bankruptcy. Now, let us now proceed with the retirement pay. When we say retirement pay, as a rule, it is taxable, but except those received by officials and employees of private firms, whether individual or corporate, under a reasonable private benefit plan maintained by the employer which meets the following requirements. Ito, kailangan ma-meet ito lahat aside from having a reasonable private benefit plan maintained by the employer, kailangan it must be approved by the BIR, and the official or employee that is retiring must have been in service for at least 10 years and is not less than 50 years of age at the time of retirement. So, 50 years old pa siya plus 10 years of service siya. And the retiring official or employee shall not have previously availed of the privilege under the retirement benefit plan. It must have been availed for the first time para maging non-taxable yung retirement. Even though na 50 years old siya at saka 10 years, pero availed siya for the second time, that is not taxable, that is not non-taxable, kundi taxable na siya. Okay? So that's the rulings for minimum wage, separation pay, and retirement pay. The next is the fringe benefits. We all know that fringe benefits is given to employees in a form of incentive to encourage employees' productivity and loyalty to employer. But however, during financial difficulties, the employer may decrease or discontinue previously given fringe benefits but cannot reduce the wage or salary of a specified amount once it is given to employees. Now, itong fringe benefits na to, it is discretionary on the part of the employer. Lalong-lalo na kapag may exceptional service ka na binigay, kinontribute sa company, so you will be given fringe benefits. However, this is not permanent. If ever may financial difficulty, it could be stopped or reduced. But, hindi po pwedeng i-reduce yung salary mo, okay? Of a specified amount once it is given to employees. Okay, we have also the convenience of the taxpayer rule. So under this one, a benefit is said to be for convenience or advantage of the employer when it is required by the nature of work or necessary to the trade, business, or profession of the employer. So benefit under employer's benefit rule is not subject to income tax. So fringe benefit is generally taxable, pero kapag it requires convenience of the taxpayer rule, so it is not taxable. So example, Mario Chuper, a driver of a physician, receives 9,000 as basic salary. Yan yung basic salary niya. In addition to his basic salary, he is provided free board and lodging by his employer with an approximate value of 5,000 per month with an agreement that he can be called to work anytime. So yung work niya is wala siyang fixed period or wala siyang fixed hour. So, maaring anytime pwede siyang tawagin. Kaya, as part or convenience of his work, binigyan siya ng kaniyang employer ng free board and lodging which, with an approximate value of 5,000 pesos. So, that is under the convenience of the taxpayer's rule. So, that is not taxable on the part of the taxpayer or the employer. Now, generally, fringe benefit is subject to 35% under the train law. Dati, 32% lang yan. Okay? So, kapag fringe benefit which is given to rank and file employees, these are taxable as compensation income. Okay? Hindi siya fringe benefits. Pero yung exception niya, non-taxable, yung mga de minimis, which will be discussed after this, and the benefits provided under the convenience of the employer. Pero kapag ang fringe benefit is given to managerial employees, so they are taxable with a final fringe benefit tax of 35%, okay, as per train law. Except na lang, which means hindi siya taxable, yung mga de minimis at saka under the convenience of the employer's rule. Now, ano-ano yung mga de minimis benefits? Okay, yung mga de minimis benefits are the following. So, ito yung mga small benefits given that is mandatory. Okay, that should be given by the company to the employer, to the employee. Okay, so we have monetized unused vacation leave credits of private employees not exceeding 10 days during the year. Okay, so that is for private employees. However, kapag government officials naman, okay, so monetized value of vacation and sick credits paid to government officials and employees, wala siyang limit. Basta government official ka, okay, hindi siya mag-i-exceed ng how many days. Pero kapag private individual ka, yung monetized and unused, okay, leave credits mo will be non-taxable, not exceeding 10 days. So, if mag-exceed yan ng 10 days, the rest will be taxable na. Okay? So, we have also medical cash allowance to dependents of employees not exceeding 1,500 per employee per semester or 250 per month. Okay, dati kasi yan 750 pesos. Ngayon, naging 1,500 na siya. Okay? So, 250 per month. Ayan. Okay? Next, we have rice subsidy. Okay? Magkano? That's 2,000. Okay? 2,000 or 1 sack of 50 kilogram rice per month amounting to not more than 2,000 pesos. So, 2,000 or isang sakong bigas of not more than 2,000. So, kapag mag-exceed yan, okay, so that is taxable. Per month ha? Okay, per month yan. So, kung in a year, so alam na natin kung paano i-account yan. Next is uniforms and clothing allowance. Okay, not exceeding 6,000 per annum. Dati 4,000 yan. But under the train law, 6,000 per annum. Actual medical cash assistance, example, medical allowance, okay, to cover healthcare needs, annual medical executive checkups, okay, not exceeding 10,000 per annum or per year. Laundry allowance, not exceeding 300 pesos per month. Okay, hindi naman siya nag-iba. Okay, fixed pa din siya. Employees Achievement Awards. Okay, okay, for example, for the length of service or safety achievement, which must be in the form of tangible personal property other than cash or gift certificate with an annual monetary value of not exceeding 10,000 pesos, okay, by the employee. We have also gifts given during Christmas and major anniversary celebration not exceeding 5,000 per employee per year. Ibibigay din yan ng management. You have also daily meal allowance for overtime work. Kapag, lalong-lalo na kapag you are in a night or graveyard shift, pero ang ibibigay sa'yo is 25% of your basic minimum wage. And benefits received by an employee by virtue of a collective bargaining agreement and productivity incentive scheme not to exceed 10,000 per employee per taxable year. We have also other forms of compensation. So first, we have property as payment for compensation. So in lieu of giving you a money or monetary amount of your compensation, you will be given as a property, okay, as in return of payment of your compensation. And aside from that, we have services as payment for compensation, okay? So, we have debt cancellation. So, magiging compensation yan if ever, ayan, kinancel lang siya without any condition. Okay, aside from that, we have issuance of shares of stocks as payment of the compensation. Instead of giving you salary, ang binigay sa'yo inisyuhan ka ng shares. And issuance of notes as payment of compensation, okay, binigyan ka ng notes as proof na they will be giving you compensation in the near future. Okay? So we have also gross income from profession, trade, or business. Yung kanina kasi under the employer-employee relationship. Now, kapag income from profession, you are exercising your own profession, or if kapag hindi naman profession, pwedeng trade or business. You are engaged in trade and business. Now, for you to compute that, gross sales less sales returns, less mo yung discounts and allowances, and cost of goods sold. Okay, sa ano naman, sa compensation, kung magkano talaga yung salary mo, less the mandatory contributions and other non-taxable items. So that is the consideration for compensation and gross income from profession and trade or business. Let's proceed with the rent income. So when we say rent income, it refers to earnings derived from leasing real estate as well as personal property. Aside from the regular amount of payment for using the property, rental income also includes all other obligations assumed to be paid by the lessee or yung nagrenta to the third party on behalf of the lessor, yung nagparenta. Okay, for example, these are interest, taxes or loans, or insurance premiums and others. So rental income, in addition, is generally determined by the gross receipts for the year, whether earned or unearned under accrual basis, because the nature of the business involved is service. Now, rent income may be in the form of cash or a stipulated price and obligations of the lessor or yung nagparenta to third persons paid or assumed by the lessee in consideration of the contract of lease such as real property taxes assumed by the lessee. When we say assumed, okay, shinolder ng lessee or ng nagrenta on the property being leased. Insurance or other fixed charges, such payments shall be considered rental payments to be reported by the lessor as part of its taxable income. So, on the part of the lessor, yung nagparenta, income yun kasi inassume ng lessee. But on the part of the lessee or yung nagrenta, it will be considered as rental payments. Okay, so how will we consider or recognize if there is an advance payment? So, if there is an advance payment, it could be prepaid rent. Okay, kapag prepaid rent, this will be recognized as income in full in the year of receipt, whether or regardless of the accounting method used by the lessor. Is it cash or accrual basis? Okay, basta in the year of receipt mo siya i-record as income in full. Advance payment could also be a security deposit. Okay? So, security deposit, it is applied to rental. Okay? As that is applied to rental is a taxable income to the lessor. Okay? But here, security deposit could be either with restriction or without restriction. So, kapag with restriction siya, so the advance payment will be considered or excluded in the determination of the rental income. So therefore, hindi lahat ng security deposit will be added, okay, in the determination of your rental income. However, kailangan muna natin siya i-consider or i-classify if it is restricted or not. Kasi kapag hindi naman restricted, meaning, pwede natin siyang i-classify as income. However, if hindi, okay, if restricted siya, it should be excluded in the determination of your rental income. Okay, so maliwanag tayo dyan. Advance rental representing option money for the property as well as security deposits to ensure faithful performance of certain obligations of the lessee are not considered as income on the part of the lessor. Meron din tayong mga tinatawag na security deposit with an acceleration clause. Ibalik muna tayo ulit sa security deposit. So, if advance payment is a loan deposit or option money, okay, for the property or a security deposit for the faithful compliance of the lessee of the lease contract, such advance payment is not an income to the lessor. Yan yung sinabi ko kanina. The income to the lessor inures when the lessee violates the term of the contract. So, for example, uh, we have rent income, annual insurance premium, annual interest expense, real estate tax, and security deposit. So, if there is an acceleration clause stipulating that the lease contract will be terminated for non-payment of rental income, ano ang mangyayari sa security deposit? Okay, the security deposit shall be forfeited in favor of the lessor. Meaning, kahit na hindi pa natapos yung lease term, as long as may na-violate yung lessee sa terms ng contract, okay, kahit na restricted siya, magiging income na siya on the year of violation. Okay, so i-include na siya as income to be reported ng lessor natin. Okay, so yan po yung magiging rulings natin for security deposit. However, if the problem is silent, security deposit is included in the income. Kapag meron namang other information na restricted siya, iwag nating isali. Pero kapag wala naman, okay, isasama natin siya. If may acceleration clause, bantayan natin if may na-violate. Kasi kapag may na-violate, okay, diretso na agad natin i-recognize yung security deposit as income sa lessor. Okay? So, ayan. What about if my leasehold improvements? Okay? When the lessee erected or built permanent improvements on the leased property, which will become the property of the lessor upon the expiration of the lease, the value of the improvement should be reported as income of the lessor using either outright method or spread out method. Now, since nagrenta tayo, halimbawa ng space, may tendency talaga na i-improve yan ni Lacey. Pwede siyang mag-build ng additional fences or anything, okay, na it will render necessary in the conduct of the business of the lessee. So, pwede niyang i-improve yan. So, now, yung improvements na yun will become part of the lessor's property at the end of the lease term. So, therefore, magiging income yan ng lessor, yung nagparenta. So, ang question natin dito, ang accounting problem is how will we recognize the income? So, may dalawa tayong method. It could be outright or spread out. Kapag outright method naman, wala tayong problema kasi the basis of tax using the method is the fair market value of the improvement of such improvement that has been completed notwithstanding the effective date of the contract. So outright, i-recognize natin siya agad-agad. Okay, kung what is the value of the leasehold improvement or the fair market value. So yan yung uh, i-consider natin or i-recognize. Ayan. However, kapag spread out method naman, the amount of income that shall be recognized must be the allocated portion pertaining to each period or term realized. So, book value at the end of the lease term or term of the lease. So, sa spread out, kung ilan yung life or year ng lease term, i-recognize natin siya every year. Okay? Pertaining or in align or in proportion to the years of the lease. Okay? Or the lease term. Ayan. So, ang book value or the book value, ayan, yung natin, i-divide. I mean, yung excess ng value. Okay? Ayan. So, example, the cost of the building is 1.5. So, the life of the building is 5 years. Ayan. Magagamit lang natin siya for 3 years. Kasi 3 years ang lease term, for example. So, we have a book value pa na 600. So, itong 600 na book value or the excess or the carrying amount at the end of the lease term, pwede itong magiging income ni lessor. So, itong 600 na to will be divided into 3. Kasi 3 yung list term natin. So, i-divide natin siya per year. So, therefore, hindi siya outright. Magre-recognize tayo ng tatlong, okay, ng tatlong income every year of the lease. Okay? So, 600 divides 3, that is 200,000. Okay? So, every year of the lease, may i-recognize si lessor na 200,000 per year. So, that's how we will recognize the income from leasehold improvements. Outright, re-recognize agad, while the spread out is spread siya on the remaining lease term or all throughout the lease term. Okay, so I hope that it is clear to you the gross income with regards to rent income and other types of inclusions of the gross income.